Hello everyone and welcome back to another video.
If I give all my love, then nothing's gonna tear us apart.
I think right now this is one of my most highly requested videos. Today we are talking everything femininity, feminine hygiene, what is femininity, how to enter your feminine soft life girl era, cycle syncing, nutrition, productivity, and more. I've been very excited to talk about this personally because if I had to pinpoint like a top 3 things that changed my life in 2023 and changed my life in general, it would be entering my feminine era, embracing my feminine power and my femininity journey in general. I'm very excited to share this with you today because I want 2024 to be a feminine soft life for you. I also want to give a major shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Thrive Market. I will share later in the video how they've helped me out on my feminine journey. I am breaking this video up into 4 different parts. The first part is just going to be almost very textbook, just an intro to femininity, masculinity, everything like that. The second, I'm gonna share a little bit about me, my feminine journey, and some of the results that I've seen from entering my feminine era. The third part, I'm gonna talk about things that I do in my everyday life, my everyday femininity journey. And then the fourth part, I'm gonna be talking about feminine hygiene. If you are new here, hi, my name is Jazz. I create a lot of content on how to glow up, how to become your best self. So if that sounds like content you're interested in, go ahead, hit the follow button, like this video if you're trying to enter your femininity journey, and comment down below something that you're looking forward to in 2024 or things that you've done on your own femininity journey. I want to hear all about it. And without further ado, let's get into today's video. Okay, let's start off with some basics. Femininity, and this is all like my opinion, to me, it is defined by entering into a softness. It is about softening. To me, it's about nurturing. It's about flowing. It's about being vulnerable. It's about having compassion, being empathetic. It's embracing some of those traits. And when you do embrace those traits, you become a literal magnet for anything that you want to manifest into your life. I am not lying to you. I literally think I'm like a textbook case of how embracing my femininity got me everything that I've ever wanted. And if you're anything like me, and I'll go into my story a little bit later, then you have been in your masculine your entire life. Masculine to me gives very stable, provider. When I think of masculinity, I think of a strong force. You know, it's about routines, it's about stability, it's about that constant. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. When you are too much in your feminine energy and when you're too much into your masculine energy, you can have too much of both. That is why life is about balance. So this video is in no way to just be like, just be feminine. Masculine energy definitely has its place in our lives. You know, I thrive off of a routine. I thrive off of a schedule. I thrive off of stability in certain areas in my life. I use that masculine energy to uplift my feminine energy. We'll get into a little bit more of that in a little bit. If you are too much in your masculine energy, this looks like you're constantly chasing after the next thing. You're constantly chasing after goals. Nothing wrong with setting goals and going after them, but you're constantly chasing it. Femininity is all about receiving. It's about attracting. You could have a lot of stress and anxiety. You could feel disconnected. You could be overly aggressive. You could be extremely hyper independent like me. It's that high ambition. It's that assertiveness, controlling or impatient. You know, even at home, women that are too much in their masculine energy can start to neglect their beauty maintenance routines, to neglect their self-care rituals, their hygiene rituals. I've noticed, and I take this from my own experience, I noticed these women never had feminine role models or feminine figures in their life. They suffer from some type of like generational like curse or trauma in the family. Maybe they've experienced some type of abuse that has made them block that feminine energy. or you could even be let down by men in your life. There are a whole bunch of things that might have entrapped you in your masculine energy, but you clicked on this video because you're self-aware enough to be like, this isn't working for me. This hustle culture, this need to control everything, this isn't getting me to where I want in life. Maybe I need to try something differently. Maybe I need to embrace my femininity. So now I'll get a little bit into my story with femininity. Hopefully maybe you resonate with some part of it. But I have always been in hustle culture, and mine really stemmed from three different things. The first thing is I lost my dad at a very young age. And I feel like that absence of a masculine father figure really impacted my feminine energy. I think I saw a mom that worked tirelessly to make things work in her life. So if that is a role model that I've seen as a very, woman in her masculine energy, has to control a situation, has to make things work, then that's kind of what I interpret it as. Also, growing up with a single mom who works a lot, you kind of take on certain traits that are missing in a home of a masculine figure, if that makes sense. I think the second thing is, especially when my dad passed away, I became highly successful at school. You would think it would kind of be the opposite, but for me, school was the only thing that I could have control over. The harder I studied, the more results I saw out of it. When you're in that school and it's a lot of structure and everything like that, and you're also a Black woman and you have to try 3 times as hard for half of what they got, and you work your way up very academically. And I went to college and I went to law school and I went to business school, and I was constantly chasing after the next thing. I was constantly trying to prove myself. I felt like I always put myself in a very rigid box, and there was a very clear path, at least professionally, about where I was going. I felt that kept me in my very much masculine energy. And I think the third thing is in my relationships. I think definitely not having a father figure attracted some very toxic relationships in my life. And in every single relationship I've ever been in, except for the one I'm in now, I've always been the masculine figure. I've always made more. I've always taken care of stuff. I've always provided. I've always taught. I was never really allowed or given the opportunity to truly rest in my feminine energy. And honestly, I jumped from relationship to relationship to relationship. So there was no period in my life where I was single for long enough to really start to look inward and see why my relationships were always toxic. I left law school, my life fell apart. Why didn't I want to continue down that path anymore? I never spent enough time alone until I ended my last toxic relationship, and I was single for a good amount of time. And this is when I started to activate my feminine energy. I started to really self-love myself. I started to show myself a lot of compassion and a lot of forgiveness. I started to take care of myself physically and falling in love with self-care and hygiene routines and beauty maintenance routines. I loved dressing up. I loved putting on makeup. I loved researching perfumes. And when I started to activate my feminine energy, and I'll go into some more tips later, and I met my boyfriend, who is inherently to me a healthy masculine figure, it allowed me to finally be in a relationship and to finally share my life and truly rest in my femininity. And that is why I'm here talking about this today. And that brings me into the third part. These are the things that I do in my everyday life to be a feminine woman. Let's talk about cycle syncing, because I'm about to change your life. In essence, cycle syncing is exactly what it sounds like. It is syncing your life to your cycle. Femininity is all about flowing. We are cyclical beings. Women, we change physically, internally over a 28-day cycle. Men change in a 24-hour cycle. Isn't that crazy? Fundamentally, we are so different than men. I didn't even know your cycle is technically 4 different phases. You have menstruation, then you have follicular, ovulation, and then luteal. And then it starts all over again in around a 28-day cycle. During the different phases in your cycle, you probably already noticed this about your body internally. You just really haven't mapped it out, but you feel different, and you can even look different depending on One week you might have the clearest skin in the world, body is snatched, no bloating, you feel on top of the world, you're able to do high intensity workouts. And then the next week you don't feel like doing anything. You feel like rotting away in your bed, your skin's breaking out, you feel so bloated, you feel very antisocial, like you feel very argumentative. Like this used to be me. I used to get so down on myself with trying to be consistent with my workout routine because one week I'd feel on top of the world and then the next week, you know, I barely even wanted to do a Pilates class. And I thought it was because I was unmotivated and I was lazy, but it really was because I wasn't listening to my body. And instead I needed to sync my lifestyle to my cycles. So that's really when I started to change up everything from my nutrition to my workout routine to my productivity. But let's get started on nutrition, and that's when our good friends Thrive Market come into play. So I found once I started cycle syncing, especially with my nutrition, it was hard to go grocery shopping every single week when my needs changed every single week to find those organic whole foods and snacks. If you don't know what Thrive Market is, it is an online membership-based grocery store that makes healthy living easy and affordable and just seeks to have you save on every single order that you make. So I really like them because you can filter their catalog online based off of your lifestyle, your dietary restrictions, whatever it may be, which makes it super simple to customize to my needs when I'm cycle syncing. They have everything from organic groceries to snacks to personal care items, eco-friendly cleaning supplies, beauty items, personal care items, organic kids products, wine, seafood, veggies, anything that you can think of. As a Thrive member, you'll save on every single order of the highest organic foods and snacks. If you find a product for a lower price, they'll even match it. Plus, when you join, you can check their deal section for extra saving. Right now, I'm in my follicular phase, so let me show you what I got from Thrive Market, and I'll share with you how much I saved afterwards. I got these organic fruit circles. I'm obsessed with these. I got some oat milk chocolate chip cookies because I always crave chocolate on my cycle. These are new, but I wanted to try them out because I was saving so much money on it, but they're like freeze-dried strawberries. I've been ordering these from Thrive Market for forever. They're like peanut butter filled pretzels. I also got some salmon bites along with some jerky. And I found such a good deal on the Dr. Bronner Castile soaps. I use these every single day, especially for my self-care ritual. The best part is not only do you get all of those savings, but I have a code for y'all, 30% off your first order, plus a free gift worth up to $60. I'll have the link in my bio so you can shop today. Thrive Market also makes it possible for low-income family, veterans, teachers to have access to natural, organic, whole food. For every membership, Thrive Market donates a membership to someone in need. I'm obsessed with Thrive Market. I have been for a very, very long time, and it has really helped with my cycle syncing journey. It has made grocery shopping week to week based off of my different needs of my cycle so easy. It's so yummy. It's also fun discovering new snacks and everything like that. Plus, it's a grocery store, so I also get my personal care items too. So definitely grab that link down below, 30% off your first order, plus that free gift worth up to $60. Like, you can't get much better than that. So go ahead, click the link in my bio and thank me later. So I thought it might be really helpful to go through every single phase and to tell you what is needed nutrition-wise, productivity-wise, exercise-wise, everything like that. If you need more information, you can definitely just go on Pinterest and look up cycle syncing charts. They're super helpful, but I will include some of my favorite down below. Some of those charts also have nutritional guides, which makes it really, really helpful to use that guide to go onto Thrive Market to shop your needs. So let me start in the follicular phase because that's what I'm in right now. So think of your follicular phase like your inner spring. This is when your energy begins to rise. In terms of food, you crave a lot of like red meat, eggs, salmon, cheese, fruit and veggies, and even some fermented foods. And this is really where you want to do your HIIT style of classes. I love berries, Orange Theory, do some weight training. This is also a great time to be creative, to get things done. Also a great time to start a new hobby or to start learning a new skill. Like I said, I like to do a lot of berries during that time. I like to load up on those HIIT style classes. I like to run, I like hike, swim, things like that. If we're talking hormones, your estrogen and your progesterone starts to rise. It basically means your energy and your motivation levels start to rise. It's just a great time for us. Let's talk about ovulation, or our inner summer. So this is where we have our highest energy. Our focus level is there, aware and we are truly feel like our higher self. We feel like that girl. It's great to eat fibrous foods. Fish, veggie, nuts, and avocados are great during this time. This is also another amazing time to do HIIT style of workouts. It's also a great time to dance, to flow, it's such a great time to do dance classes or just dance around in your home. This is when you want to do a lot of outreach or collaborating or host big events and things like that. You also want to start finalizing any big projects or things you have going on. This is when your estrogen and progesterone are at their peak. You feel very social and confident and like a true feminine woman. Great time to attend conferences, great time to have difficult conversations, networking events, interviews, things like that. Then we move into our luteal phase. Think of this like an inner fall. So this is when our energy starts to decrease. In terms of hormone levels, if you're not pregnant, progesterone is going to start rapidly decreasing. This could make you feel really sluggish and maybe even a little depressed. For foods, I really like to focus on like sweet potatoes, healthy fats, protein, sunflower seeds. This is when I'm craving like that dark chocolate. And I know we crave it, but we have to reduce caffeine, sugars, and things like that during this phase because it's gonna make us feel even more sluggish than our hormones already are making us feel. So we don't wanna add to that. In terms of workouts and productivity, this is a great time to do a moderate level of workouts. Things like Pilates or yoga, maybe even some like light cardio like walking. Great time to focus on simple tasks, great time to journal and reflect. Also, it's very, very important to celebrate your wins during this time. It's easy for us to get down in the dumps. So when you're journaling and reflecting, really leaning into gratitude, really leaning into the big wins of the day, even if they're small. Then we get into menstruation. This is when we actually bleed. This is what I thought our period, all that it was. Think of this like our inner winter. Our estrogen levels start to rise like a little bit, but progesterone still dips. This can have you feeling really low energy, but very reflective. This is a great time for solo projects. This is a great time for reflecting, proofreading, researching, and even setting some goals. During this time, I love soups. I like a lot of like hearty stews. I like roasted veggies and stir fries, mushroom, greens, red meats, things like that. During this time, it is okay to sleep in. Sleep, rest, recover. If you really want to get out and do something, this is a time for yoga and walking. You're going to really try to avoid big projects or any like long to-do lists. That is my cycle syncing guide. Let me get into some other things that I do on my femininity journey, but I wanted to really dive deep into cycle syncing because it is in essence just something so active I do on my femininity journey. Okay, let's get into the other tips that have really, really helped me in my feminine journey. I've mentioned this throughout the video, but slow or soft living. I'm gonna create an entire video on this, probably how I'll create a whole other video on cycle syncing. But what soft living means to me, I know soft living can be equated to luxury. It can be equated to the Pilates and the green juice and everything like that. I've started to interpret soft living as slow living, and it's taking your time and it's being present and it's falling in love with the little habits and the little routines in your everyday life. It is romanticizing your life. It is playing classical music while you're doing your skincare routine or your self-care ritual. It is taking walks in nature and listening to frequencies, or it's listening to podcasts while you're out walking. It's taking a moment to look up from your computer when you're at that coffee shop and see the environment around you, maybe even introduce yourself, getting to know people. When I started to soften my life and enjoy the little in-between moments, and I stopped looking towards the next thing, and I was grateful for what was happening right now, and I was grounded in taking in what was happening right now, I really felt feminine. I felt nurturing. I felt present in that moment. Also, hobbies, doing highly feminine hobbies like flower arranging or Pilates, or you could even do a pole dancing class to really reclaim your body and your feminine power. Dance lessons, learning an instrument like the piano or the violin. You could take ballet. I have a whole video on high value hobbies that you can do. Not only will you meet more female friends, but you will be in an abundantly feminine environment. This allows you to manifest and continue on that journey to your higher self. I also like to consume feminine content, not just like this video, but really following content creators where this is their entire niche, is femininity, is being a high value woman, is glowing up, whether that be podcast, whether that be certain influencers, whether that be books. I try to consume a lot of content of women pouring into themselves, even if they're not physically in my life or physically my friends. I feel like in my head, I've created this community of feminine content. And whenever I log onto social media, I make it work for me. When I log onto social media, I should be motivated, I should be inspired, I should be checking up on my friends, or I should be learning something. And you know, following influencers and actively following feminine content is a good way to keep reminding yourself day to day about the little things that you can include in your feminine journey. Let's get to the last part of this video, feminine hygiene. Now, I will create an entirely separate video on this, but I just wanted to cover the bases and do a very, very broad overview. Having a feminine hygiene routine, especially if you sync it up to cycle syncing, is so empowering. When you take care of her down there, it inherently makes you feel more feminine. It feels like you're taking care of all of you. One bougie thing I like to do in terms of feminine hygiene is go get a V-steam or a vajacial. Like, I love getting those because I get waxed. I don't shave down there. It's just such a pampering thing that is just so inherently feminine. I love treating myself to those at least once a quarter. While we're on the topic, let's talk about hair removal. There's shaving, there's waxing, there's at-home laser hair removal, there's laser hair removal. Ultimately, you do want to invest in laser hair removal. I would highly recommend going on Groupon. They always have amazing deals for laser hair removal. Now, me, I have a lot of tattoos. I know it doesn't look like it, but I have a lot of tattoos and it's very hard for me to get laser hair removal. So I do wax her down there and then I shave my legs, but I do think I am going to try and get my underarms laser. You can get a lot of these personal care beauty items from Thrive. When I shave, I use Flamingo, I use their shaving gel, and I use their pink razor. It makes me feel so cute. And afterwards, you want to put on a product like Ten Skin to prevent any ingrown hairs and even out your skin. You can also use a product, I haven't used it personally, but I've heard amazing things. It's called Lumi, and it'll really help lighten that area down there. But again, I would highly recommend just going and get laser hair removal. If not, I'd recommend a Brazilian wax or waxing down there. It's just so much better for her down there. Also, in terms of hair removal, when I shave my underarms, I like to put on a little bit of a glycolic acid. This is great as like a deodorizer and helps lighten the area underneath my armpits. In terms of feminine products, I have two products to recommend for you. This is the Love Wellness pH Balancer or the Honey Pot in Normal. I love these two. Or, you know, I always order these off of Thrive Market, but the Dr. Bronner's Castile soap, just the original, this is just so good over your body. But if you're just a soap and water type of girl down there, this is going to be your best friend. After I'm done with my menstruation cycle, I always use a boric acid suppository. I know these are controversial. I don't care. Like, this just gets rid of any smell, stuff up there. Like, I love just popping one of those in once my cycle is done. I also like boric acid suppositories along with those feminine washes because they are great pH balancers. In terms of supplements, I love a once daily women's supplement. I like the one from Ritual. This is the Essential 18 Plus or the My Kind Women's Once Daily, whatever works for you. As an internal deodorizer, I love using chlorophyll drops. This will also make your skin glow. Other feminine hygiene things I like to do, I like to drink lots and lots and lots of water. I like to drink cranberry juice, which is a great antioxidant. That water is really going to detox your body. You also want to be very careful about what foods you eat. Foods can definitely throw off your pH balance. I always wear cotton underwear. I will link some of my favorite ones from Amazon. No more lace, no more lace. Not only was it making me have ingrown hairs, but it was creating darkness down there. Only cotton. I only use organic tampons. I would definitely do your research on the brand. I think I use the L brand or Cora. Definitely invest in going to an OBGYN or a gynecologist, especially if you smell anything down there or find any discomfort. Don't try to DIY it on your own. Like I said in the beginning, sometimes I just like to do little extra things for her, like getting a yoni steam, a V steam, a vajacial, something like that that just makes me feel so feminine and girly and womanly and just feels like I'm taking care of myself in a very unique way. When you begin this feminine journey, your entire life will change, and I am not over exaggerating. You will have more energy, you will form deeper and more genuine connections, you will get more done, you will reach your body goals, you will glow physically, you will glow internally, you will look the part, you will look classy, feminine, sexy, you will exude feminine power. You can lose weight, you can lower your stress levels, and there's just so many other benefits to your feminine journey. I hope this video was so helpful to you. Hopefully I wasn't too all over the place, but I just wanted to give you such a broad overview of femininity, of cycle syncing, of my journey, just something that I can motivate you to investigate more and research more about femininity. There are definitely topics throughout this that I could create entire videos on. So please go down in the comments. Let's have a discussion on some things. Request for more videos, and we'll make sure to dive deeper on anything that we've talked about. Again, a major shout out to our sponsors, Thrive Market, for sponsoring this video. They have been so integral in the nutritional aspect of my cycle syncing journey. They have made it so easy and so accessible, and it's been so great to just save money at the same time. Again, I have 30% off your first order alongside a free gift worth up to $60 if you just click the link in my description. Thank you again, Thrive Market, for sponsoring this video. Leave me some questions below. I want to talk to you. Don't forget to follow me on all of my social medias. You're gonna find a lot of content that you won't find here on YouTube. So I hope that was super helpful. Let's chit chat down in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video, and I will see you next time. Bye, girly.
If I give all my love, then nothing's gonna tear us apart.